Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to look at Microsoft stock and answer whether or not I think Microsoft stock could reach $1,000 per share by the year 2030 and offer different scenarios for where Microsoft stock could be in 20. So this is kind of like a stock price prediction video for Microsoft stock. So without further ado, let's jump right into this analysis.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
Some of the numbers I'm going to need for one is Microsoft's current stock price. Right now it's trading at $418 per share. You can see the stock price has performed exceptionally well after bottoming out around $230 per share early in 2023. Of course, Microsoft was one of the early investors in OpenAI, and it's incorporating OpenAI's ChatGPT into its suite of cloud services, into its suite of products, and that's providing a huge boost for Microsoft and its share price in recent months. Also, I'm going to need Microsoft's forward price to earnings ratio. Currently, it's trading at a forward PE of 31.41. I'm going to need this when I'm making my price prediction. All right, so additionally, I'm going to need Microsoft next year 2025 earnings per share estimate, and analysts on Wall Street that are following Microsoft stock, they think it's going to deliver $13.37 in earnings per share in 2025. That's going to be up from $11.65 in 2024. So analysts on Wall Street are optimistic about Microsoft's earnings per share prospects over the next few years, to be sure. Now, looking at longer term, analysts on Wall Street are expecting Microsoft to generate 16.3% earnings per share growth each year for the next 5 years, on top of the growth that they're expecting over the next 2 years into 2025. As I mentioned already, the analysts on Wall Street that are following Microsoft stock are optimistic about its forecast, about its outlook. In addition to Microsoft's position in benefiting from the rising effectiveness of AI, Microsoft is also in a position to benefit from the replacement cycle of personal computers. Remember, in 2020 and 2021, there was a surge in purchases of personal computers because now people were working from home, learning from home, entertaining from home, and they needed more personal computers to accomplish those feats. Now, that created a gap of purchases because if you bought a computer in 2020 and 2021, you're probably not going to need one in 2022. You're not going to need one in 2023. These are long-lasting goods. They last anywhere between 4 to 6 years. So in 2024, this is the start of that replacement cycle from the computers that were purchased in 2020. Just the beginning, just the first year of that replacement cycle. That's going to enter into the peak phase next year in 2025 and in 2026 as those computers purchased in 2020 and 2021 start to show their age, and these newer computers that are getting infused with AI technology are going to be more enticing to those folks that bought computers in 2020 and 2021. They're going to want to upgrade to those newer generation models that provide more AI capability. So Microsoft is in an excellent position to benefit from both of those strong trends. All right, so now that we've got the numbers that we need to make our stock price prediction, we can start looking at our model. So like I mentioned, $13.37 is what analysts on Wall Street are expecting Microsoft to earn per share in 2025. Additionally, they are expecting Microsoft to grow by 16.3% per year for the next 5 years. So I'm applying this 16% growth rate to the $13 earnings per share, and I'm extending it out for 6 years to get a 2031 earnings per share forecast of $33.08. I've applied this for 6 years because I need the 2031 EPS if I want to get a price for 2030. I need the 1 year ahead EPS target. So now I'll draw your attention here to the right hand side where I've got the 2031 EPS of 33, and if I apply its forward PE multiple, which I got from earlier, the current valuation, that will give me a stock price for Microsoft of $1,038.82 in 2030. So If all else remains the same, Microsoft stock is headed on a trajectory to exceed $1,000 per share by 2030, and currently it's at $418 per share. So that would mean it more than doubles from its current share price if all else remains the same, if there are no unanticipated headwinds in front of Microsoft. But if there are some headwinds and the valuation were to decrease to 28 instead of 31, then Microsoft's stock price could reach $928 per share by 2030. Still not bad, more than double, right? If that headwind is even stronger and the valuation falls even more, down to 25, then Microsoft's stock price could rise nearly double to $827 per share. And finally, the lowest multiple I have applied in this scenario is 20. And if that scenario were to play out, Microsoft's stock price could increase by roughly 50% to $661 per share. If you'll notice, all of the scenarios I have played out here have Microsoft's stock price increasing meaningfully from where it's currently trading. The only scenario that would entail Microsoft's stock price falling would be if its earnings per share growth rate were to come in significantly below where it is now. If I were to model an earnings per share growth rate of just 8% for Microsoft over the next 6 years, and I keep these multiples where they're at, its stock price would still be expected to rise over the next 6 years, although by not as much. The scenario where the stock price could fall is if the growth rate in earnings per share is at roughly 4%. In that case, the stock price would be expected to remain roughly flat or maybe down a little bit. So you could see here that as long as Microsoft grows its earnings per share by at least 6%, the stock price is likely to be higher 6 years from now. And if the stock price increases by the rate that Wall Street analysts expect it to grow, then its stock price is likely to be much, much higher than where it's at now. So where do I think is the most likely scenario for where Microsoft's stock price could be by 2030? It's going to be right at the midpoint of $1,000. So I think it's going to be between $950 and $1,050 per share, or at the midpoint $1,000 per share. So just like the headline of the video stated, Microsoft's stock price could reach exactly $1,000 per share by 2030. By no means take that to mean that this is some kind of precise stock price prediction. There's a lot of estimates and assumptions I used in this stock price prediction. Take that with a grain of salt. This is only for informational purposes. There's a lot that could go different. And I showed you if I change the growth rate, that could change the values significantly. And nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. And Wall Street analysts have known to make mistakes on their forecast. So this is using a lot of Wall Street analyst estimates. So a lot can go wrong. But if all else remains the same and there isn't anything to throw Microsoft off target, this is where it could end up in 2030. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.